Assalamu alaikum, ya entrepreneurs. سامعني? It's always good company to be in the company of entrepreneurs and future entrepreneurs. الصوت أعلى؟ كده كويس؟ وقبل ما نتكلم على entrepreneurs يعني an entrepreneur is a dreamer, someone that dreams, and if you're not a dreamer, don't become an entrepreneur. Because if you stop dreaming, you stop creating. وفي ناس كتيرة هتبقى واقفة ضدكم في الدريم بتاعكم الأول. كنا لسه بنتكلم تحت with some of the people that went through this process before. ليه ما أنت عندك شغلانة كويسة؟ وسمعتوا أحمد العيوطي، محمد العيوطي بيتكلم في الموضوع ده. لا ليه ما أنت عندك شغلانة كويسة وسالري وهتترقى كمان شهرين وخليك قاعد لا وما تعملش كده بس there's a little animal inside of us that tells us no, I want to do this, I want to succeed, I want to try it at least, and there's no shame in failure. يعني you failed and you learned something. I failed a lot, and a lot of entrepreneurs failed a lot, and we learn more from the failure than from the success. Today I'm not going to talk about myself. I'm going to talk about how to bake an internet startup because that's my background. I started my career as a banker. يعني going العكس الانتربرنور تماما. With all due respect to bankers, but so there are people always about history and so forth. فكنت banker في أمريكا في Bank of America Private Bank أيام الإنترنت boom. We had Bank of America venture partners that all of a sudden كمية الشركات اللي عايزين ياخدوا فلوس من البنك وبقي venture partners بس ما كانش في وقت إن ال 12 partner يقابلوا كل الشركات دي. So they started reaching out to different departments of the bank. So I was part of doing the initial due diligence on some of these startups. So I learned a lot. You go and you meet companies with young teams, with energetic, and I did not understand a word of what they were talking about. I was interested and ended up actually joining one of those companies, one of those startups. There was 3 Turkish guys. We've built the first entertainment portal in Turkey. It's called goturkey.com. You know that logo of Turkey. Proudly we designed it. وضحك علينا بعد كده، ضحكوا علينا وباعوا البورتال لناس تانية وما كناش ماضيين حاجة. باعوا بنص مليون دولار. That's in 1998. وقلت الناس نمضي طب عقد معاهم. لا there is trust. There is trust. Whoever tells you that لا أنا كلمتي ما تخافش مش عارف إيه keep يعني be careful but you learn from it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is factors of production. مين يعرف factors of production؟ مين اللي طلع factors of production؟ It's in economics. In economics? Adam Smith? Huh? Adam Smith. And we're talking about Adam Smith. Land, yes, exactly. So labor, land, entrepreneurship, capital, and labor. And I put technology as land because technically we're virtual. Yeah, of course you have an office and you have people, but mainly you conduct your business online. So entrepreneurship, I said French-English word. It's not a French-English word. That doesn't make any sense. It's a French word. It means to start something. It's an endeavor that you start, and it's including activity, innovations, finance, and business acumen in an effort to transform an idea into an economic good. So if you look at some of these words, we're going to focus more on the presentation, and we're going to give you a little bit of anecdotes of what to do in every single piece of it. And a lot of the speakers will share their ideas, their experiences with you. And if you're an entrepreneur, if you want to become an entrepreneur, congratulations. This is the first step that you've taken today to learn a little bit about what are you getting yourself into. And there's a lot to learn in entrepreneurship and starting a business. So أول حاجة الانوفيشن. أي business model على الإنترنت has 2 tracks. يا innovator or an adapter. يعني I work for Sue.com. Sue.com is an adapter. We followed the footsteps of Amazon. We followed the footsteps of eBay. So we took a successful business model that is working outside, and we've localized it to the Arab world. Innovator, that's different. An innovator is like somebody that started, مثلا Facebook was an innovation. YouTube was an innovation. So the first thing you want to ask yourself is my business, am I an innovator or am I an adapter? So if you're an innovator, you have a lot of homework to do because you want to define the market. What is your market? Who is your customer? How big is the market size? دايما when you go talk to any investor يقول لك have you sized the market? وانت size the market ايه McDonald's يعني Big Mac مش عارف. I don't even understand the question. So when they say sizing the market, هو عايز يعرف how much money they can make out of this venture. يعني when they were talking about Facebook, we were like, I don't know what I've created, and people telling him, يعني, what is it في الأول? But after that, we've seen the trickle effect. And then study the current trends, and your timing is extremely important when you're an innovator, because you can have a great idea, but people are not ready to use it yet. You can have an idea about streaming video, بس الانترنت connection في الماركت اللي انت فيه بطيئة, so people will come and watch the video for 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and then they're going to leave your website because the infrastructure is not there. And then the last question you have to ask yourself, is it scalable? We come up with a lot of great ideas, but sometimes those ideas are not scalable. Nobody's going to be interested in doing $100,000 worth of revenue every year. They'll be interested in doing $100 million worth of revenue every year. So that's some of the things you want to look at. As an adapter, you learn from past experiences, you learn from different markets, you learn from other success stories, and they're accessible because they're online. So, but there are certain things. So you have to examine the innovators of other markets, what they've done right, what they've done wrong, and how does it mean to your local market. يعني مثلا يقول لك eBay وأمازون كل شغال بcredit cards. So.com, we cannot just take credit cards. 80% من transactions تاعنا are cash on delivery. So لو ما كنا عملناش الادوبشن بتاع cash on delivery ما كانش حد اشترى. Because there's no trust. People don't understand e-commerce or online buying, يعني buy online والكلام ده كله. So you have to adapt to the market. And like I said, localization. And then of course, again, the market size. Because a business is about creating opportunity and creating an economic good. The second thing you want to talk about, or you want to ask yourself, is where do my internet product, where does it fit from in terms of a product definition? So there's a lot of things. If you look at مثلا هل أنا عندي traditional product or service ولا أنا عندي electronic product, and where does it fit? في عندنا حاجات كتيرة. We have the product, we have the delivery agent, we have the process. So if we look at Sue.com, we're an electronic product, but we deliver physical products. So we fit in an electronic product, but an electronic process, but a physical product. So you really want to define where you are, because you don't want to go to an investor, or you don't want to go to every time you iterate your company, هتلاقي ناس يقول لك أيوة بس ممكن تعمل كذا ممكن تعمل كذا ممكن تعمل كذا تقول أيوة أنا بعمل كل ده. So you'll find that you're diluting your business. You're diluting the core value of why you started that business to accommodate everybody else who thinks that if I tell them this, they're going to invest in my company. But you know, if they invest in your company for that reason, you're going to fail. So if you believe in your concept, if you believe in the idea, then really you have to define where your product fits. And then, of course, after you do that, you want to formulate your business model. يعني إيه formulate your business model, your financial model? يعني two simple questions. Who's your customer? Who's going to pay for your product? يعني تقول لي أنا هعمل كذا والناس هتشتري من على الإنترنت. الناس هتشتري على الإنترنت. أي ناس؟ مين الناس دول؟ سنهم قد إيه؟ بيعملوا قد إيه فلوس؟ الeducation program بتاعهم عامل إزاي؟ You really have to define this. And then when you define this, you're going to have to go ask them, and how much would you pay for it? يعني أنت مثلا بتقول عشان order for me to become profitable لازم كل واحد يدفع 100 جنيه في السنة. وأنت تروح تعمل انترفيو ل 50 واحد منهم يقول لك لا يا عم 100 جنيه أنا هدفع 30 جنيه بكتير. وفي الأول مش هدفع خالص. مش هدفع غير لما استخدمها وتشتغل و I have trust, and then maybe I would pay. So you really want to know how much people would pay. Also, how will they pay? هيدفعوا بالcredit card؟ طب ما فيش credit cards. لو مثلا if I'm targeting people between the ages of 12 and 18 مثلا for games, they don't have credit cards. هيقعد يجري ورا بابا يقول له اديني credit card بتاعه يقنعه كل يوم عشان يديله credit card ولا cash ولا الحاجات دي كلها. So when you talk to all these people, learn this word very well, traction. If you don't have traction of the business plan, you don't have a business plan. Because if you don't know who is your customer, who's going to pay money for you to continue doing this business and growing that business, you still need to work a little bit more on your business. And business acumen. Business acumen هو دلوقتي يعني أنا the first company I started كانت called TEDxAUC. I was a banker. رحت دبي لقيت إن في الريل استيت بوم والمورجج بوم ومفيش عشان تجيب لون لازم تروح لست انفار وست بنوك سوري وتقعد اسبوع عشان تعرف بس الانترست ريت. فانا قلت لا I'm going to do a portal where you go apply for اسمه ايه ده قرض للريل استيت ويديك كل الاوفرز اللي في الماركت based on how much money I make بقالي قد ايه في البلد within minutes. طب great. I know the banking side. Do I know anything about the technology side? I didn't know anything about the technology side. So my first thing was to find someone who complements me. I found the co-founder of the company who was a chief technology officer of the company. He understands the product, he understands the technology, what kind of product we're going to build it on. حد يقول لي طب ده مبني على جافا ولا مبني على .NET ولا مبني على وانا بالنسبه لي كل ده يعني صيني بتتكلم عليه. Sorry. So another thing that you have to understand the market behavior بتاع اللي انت داخل فيه الاول. يعني انت داخل في market, let's say داخل في market فيه competitors بتوعك, بس you feel that you can do it better, or you feel you have a niche in that market. So when you're looking at that, try to look at the behavior, what people did with these companies before. هل دلوقتي ده صح ولا ايه اللي هم عاملينه صح, ايه اللي هم عاملينه غلط, so you can develop at least your positioning statement. Consumer behavior is always extremely important. يعني مش عايز تعمل حاجه الناس رايحه شمال والناس الثانيه كلها رايحه يمين. واحد يقول لي انا هعمل سوشيال نتورك, سوشيال ميديا نتورك. Why would you do the social media network? ما كل الناس they are on social media network. So you're asking people to migrate to another network ويعملوا friends بقى تاني من اول وجديد. اكني انا عايش في اسكندريه وانت بتقول لي لا روح بقى عزل في مرسى مطروح وتعرف على ناس وتعرف على اصحاب جديده. لا, instead of doing this I can maybe build an application on Facebook, or maybe I can connect my website to Facebook Connect, and I can leverage that network to help me in my own business. تاني حاجه في الفاينانشال اكيوم والبزنس اكيوم بتاعك, الحاجات بقى اللي هي الايه, حد يقول لك عملت بزنس بلان؟ لا. طب ايه البزنس بلان؟ طب بتتعمل ازاي؟ طب ايه الكومبوننتس بتاعت البزنس بلان دي كلها؟ So that's something you want to also invest a lot of time في حته الفاينانشال موديلنج. يعني ايه الفاينانشال موديلنج؟ يعني انا بعمل فلوس قد ايه النهارده وبعمل فلوس قد ايه بكره, هضطر ادفع سالاريز قد ايه, هضطر ادفع وركينج كابيتال قد ايه عشان يرجع لي العائد اللي انا بدور عليه. ومش مشكله ان انت تبقى نيجاتيف اول سنه سنتين ثلاثه اربعه, it's okay, it's the name of the game. If you're growing and you're growing healthy and you're reducing your cost, then this is what investors would look for. There's just some helpful tips when you talk to investors, because I think this is the toughest thing when you're trying to start an internet company, when you go talk to investors. So I just wrote some helpful tips, some things that I've made, mistakes that I've made personally. يعني don't use business jargon. يعني الكلام التكنيكال قوي بتاعك don't use it, because you're talking to a finance person. You're not talking to a technology person. فلو كلام كبير قوي وملعبك قوي هتلاقي الناس يقول لك sounds like a great idea. Sounds like a great idea. Okay, we'll talk later. لأن هو مش فاهم أنت بتقول إيه أصلا. So make sure that they understand what you're talking about and explain it as if you're explaining it to a 10-year-old. Don't be trite in your business plan. يعني sometimes you read a lot of business plan ويقعدوا يجيبوا نفس السيرة هي في الفاينانشالز والماركتينج والoperations, هو نفس الثيم, نفس الكلام. So try to be simple and try to talk about finance في finance section. Try to talk about marketing in the marketing section. I'm going to optimize and utilize and deliver optimization. هتعمل ايه من الآخر يعني؟ هتعمل ايه? So try to be simple. Keep it simple. Keep some information back when you're talking to investors, because هتلاقي نفسك ان انت لو بعت لهم business plan او بعت لهم executive summary او عملت presentation وبعدين يقول لك okay, tell me more. If you run out of things to say, they'll feel like okay, this guy خلاص ما عندوش know-how, هو بس حافظ شوية حاجات وجاي يتكلم عليها. I think the best thing to do is always keep a couple of things back, especially the challenges that you're facing or the challenges that people tell you that you will face. يعني يقول لك لا مش هتشتغل, the cost of acquisition هيبقى عالي قوي. أقول له yes, absolutely, you're absolutely right, and this is what we're going to do to minimize our cost of acquisition. So when you do that, the investor, whether it's an angel investor, whether it's a venture capital firm, whether it's your cousin or your father or your mom, they're going to start believing in what you're saying. Like, wait a second, this guy did his homework. She did her homework. He did his homework. Develop a dynamic timeline and keep updating it. يعني دلوقتي تقول أنا I'm going to launch الشركة النهارده, إحنا دلوقتي في ديسمبر وإحنا we're going to launch في مارس. And I need to do, طبعا عشان تلانش المارس لازم أعمل إيه؟ لازم أعمل 1 و2 و3 و4, لازم أعمل legal setup, لازم أخلص البيتا تيستنج بتاعي, لازم أعين sales people. So you have to start creating milestones for this. And it's okay if you don't meet the milestones. Just move the milestone a bit. So at least you're not frustrated. At least you don't get demotivated when you say يا نهار اسود انا لازم اعمل كل الحاجات دي كلها علشان اطلع بالشركه وقدامي 3 شهور بس و running out of time. It's okay. يعني there's no science to what you're doing. You're doing it for the first time, and most of the time you're the only one doing it. So always having a dynamic timeline helps you with your expectations on when you would launch or when you would have something. And keep business plans short and sweet. بلاش ال 100 صفحة. Nobody reads 100 pages. They only read 2 or 3 pages, 5 pages, and if they like it, they're going to keep reading more. So keep that in mind. Don't write a huge plan. Keep it simple. Boil it down شوية. So financial modeling for the non-finance people, which is a lot of people that sometimes you want to start a business and لازم أعمل business plan. There's a good resource اسمها docstock.com. It's an open source. It's a file sharing website. You can go there and type financial modeling for ice cream shop, financial model for an internet company, a financial model for cupcake factory. I don't know. So it's a great resource, and there's a lot of other resources طبعا online. And try to come up with a financial 5 years projection. أنا كنت في الأول عامل 1 year projection وبعدين والinvestor طب وبعد سنة you're going to go out of business خلاص ولا إيه؟ So you really want to do a 5 year projection. And then in أول سنة you're always losing money. 10 سنة you're always losing money depending on the type of business. So try to make a 5 year financial plan and try to be honest with yourself. By the way, on Excel, every business works. Every business. Like, wow, I'm rich already. خلاص. 2 years, mom? That's okay. I'll take care of you. But in order to move it from Excel into the real life, always think of that. Always plan for the worst, but hope for the best. And then, like I said, traction. One thing that, when talking to investors, a lot of times they're interested, but they're not really interested. They'll bring you in to talk about what you have, and they'll put holes in your business plan because that's their job. They're going to give you their money. And why would they give you their money? Who are you? They don't know you. So in order to do that, be ready with your numbers because they will definitely quiz you. They will test you on every single thing. It's like, oh, so the cost of acquisition is $5? Are you sure? It is $5. You know it's $5. But if you don't know and you're just guessing that it's going to be $5, like, ممكن we can revisit it. They're like, okay. And then they ask you another question and another question, and you keep failing from answering those questions. So keep that in mind. Don't take it personal. مش لازم كل حد هيعجب بالidea بتاعتك. 90% of the time, especially الناس اللي انت بتكلموا في الأول صحابك your colleagues at work and people that you know تقول له أنا طلعت بالidea دي هتحصل كذا وكذا 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 وكذا. مش هتشتغل. That's their response. لا. It's not going to work. وانت بقى you're still starting the business, but you're like, okay. After a while, you're going to start asking yourself, ask them, why not? Why would it not work? مش تشتغل ليه؟ يقول لك لا هي مش تشتغل. دول لو حد قال لك كده انا مسميهم حزب اعداء النجاح. حطهم على جنب. 10% of them هيرد عليك يقول لك مش هتشتغل علشان البيهيفير بتاع الكونسيومر كذا وكذا 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 وكذا. I would go study what these people tell you, especially if they're an expert in what they're doing. If they tell you something like this, then this should be part of your business plan. لو فعلا it's a valid concern, study it, look at it. Don't run away from it and say, no, it's going to work, it's going to work. فاهم الباشن بتاعنا drives us all the time. But in order to start a business, you have to have the passion, but you also have to be realistic. So study it. You're swimming with sharks. With all due respect to all the investors in the house, you're sharks. So why? Because it's their business. They invest people's money. It's not just their money. So they want to make sure that they get the best deal out of the transaction. If they're investing in a company and they know that the valuation of this company is $10 million, and if they get it for $2 million, they did their job. So always keep that in mind. They're doing their job. And manage your expectations, like I said. Resources. Management team. دلوقتي انت ممكن يبقى عندك management team from day one for a business or an idea, or you can have people that will join you in 3 months or will join you in 6 months. فأول حاجة, you want to find someone that complements you زي ما قلت في الأول. And then secondly, identify those people in your business plan. يقول لك طب فين الماركت director of marketing؟ ما عندكش director of marketing. Yeah. We're going to join the minute we fund. This person, we've identified him. This is his background. This is his profile. Okay. What about operations manager? What about kaza? What about kaza? So you have to identify those people, or at least have a short list of people that will join your company and become, because growth in the internet, you can grow 30, 40% month over month, not in a year, in a month. So you want to make sure that الناس اللي فعلا هيساعدوك ان تكبر الشركة دي, that these people have been identified, they like the idea, بس يقول لك بص يا عمر أنا متجوز ومخلف ما ينفعش أجي أشتغل معاك ببلاش. I need 15-20,000 جنيه في الشهر. So you put that in your business plan and you activate that person when you have the funds, when you have a need for them. And a very good thing that have helped me personally يعني was advisory board. إن أنا بتروح تلم ناس من that are subject matter experts in the field. مثلا, for example, if I'm doing something with the internet or I'm doing something with social media or online advertising, I would go talk to Con and can you help me with this? And if I'm talking about something, حد في legal مثلا, ممكن يبقى في مثلا محامي يساعدني, not on hire, but someone that just I call on the phone and ask them questions. مش أقول له اعمل لي legal setup. لا اعمل لي legal setup دي فيها fees. بس أنا عندي سؤال سريع. Advisory board members can help in making introductions. يقول لك أنا أعرف حد في فودافون, ممكن أعمل لك meeting. أنا أعرف حد في مؤمنين, أعرف حد في TE data. So they can really open up doors. And it looks very impressive in your business plan where you have an advisory board of names that are known out there. زي محمد العيوطي يقول لك I wanted to be one of the leaders of the internet industry in Egypt. So if you have him مثلا, they say, okay, Muhammad al-Ayuti will not be involved in this endeavor unless it's a good one. So putting it together. بعد كل ده, after you go into business planning and after you go through the brainstorming and defining your product and starting your product and building your product, you have to put it together. And there's only you to put it together. You're it. You're the one who is going to have to wake up every morning and say, I'm going to do this today, because every morning is going to be something. You're not going to have all happy days. يعني مش هتبدأ البزنس بتاعتك الidea تيجي بكرة and then you're going to launch your company in a month or so. I hope it is. Maybe it is. But I'm saying it will take perseverance and persistence from your end. There was a survey done in end of 2010, Gallup poll. They surveyed graduating college students in Egypt and in the US and in Europe. In Egypt, 24% of the graduating students said, I want to start my business within the first year. 24% in Egypt. It was 1% in the US. Why? Because I think if you look at Egypt, we're a country that 70% of this country now is under the age of 30, and most of this room, probably 80% of this room is under 30. And you feel that, no, I don't want to get a job, أخذ 800 جنيه واشتغل في call center. I studied something and I believed in an idea, and I met, there's a lot of people that have been involved in their endeavors, and I'm very happy to see that they didn't give up on their ideas, that they started, one of them started publishing a magazine, another guy started 2 companies النهارده, and people that I've interacted with in the past, and they're students, and they started something. They might have failed in coming up with one idea, but they did not give up. They came back and they started it again. So you're it. And as an entrepreneur, you're going to feel all of these emotions. One day you're going to be happy, the next day you're going to be sad, and then you're going to be insecure, and then you're going to be furious, and then you're going to be disappointed, and then you're going to be on top of the world, and then you're going to fall off top of the world, and that's it. But this is entrepreneurship. It's going to be the best journey of your life. Even if you fail, I would recommend you to take it. So go get it. Thank you.